Good morning. I'm sitting here at the entrance to this cave again. I came this way. I come less for this hike, but because it's on the side of the shade, see the other side of the mountain over there is in the sun. So this is. I wanted to hike up. I wanted to. I got it from sitting, and he got in my place. Move, Rexy. I feel like there's a shifting. I just wrote a Facebook post about it. At first, I was going to make a video, but the videos are my go-to, and I really wanted to write something out. I feel because I know that this is a collective thing that I'm going through. Everything that I'm going through, there's so many people around me going through similar things in different ways, but the similar going through themselves and coming out the other side and finding their own power within themselves. Everybody, it seems like, everyone around me that is on a spiritual journey. I mean, of course, I still see sleepwalkers, but there are many, many people all around me, and we all have effects on each other. It's like this blossoming that's happening all over the place, and it's like a fire in a field of thorns that just catches on, and it just goes psh, and just runs through the whole field. That's what I feel like this mass spiritual awakening is. So on the twin flame journey, I did a video last night, right when I was after meeting with my twin, and this is the morning after, and I feel like there's a let go, like there's a shifting happening, and something in me is just like changing perspective. I see that there is nothing for me to do. It's something that's completely out of my control. So I have like this acceptance in it and this trusting that everything is for the best and that I always see it in the end. And by letting go of him, I'm even starting to think that maybe I should believe him, that he isn't attracted to me, and that it was just something that is one-sided, and that by letting it go, I get to have him as a friend in my life. And a friend is a solid. It's a solid. And I want him in my life. He's so unique, and he adds so much to my life and so much flavor, and he's such a good example, and he's so funny. And our energy together combined is really cool. Cool things happen when we're together. We go into like this bubble. And okay, so I'll give up the romantic part of it to keep the friendship. And I'm understanding that it doesn't have to be painful. I feel it coming up in me, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You can't lose what you never had. You can't lose what you never had. It's all just a figment. What am I losing? I'm losing a fantasy. I'm losing something that I made up. So it's not even losing it. It's just quit making it up. Quit making up the story. And it's like letting go of an addiction. It's the same thing. It's like it's so much easier not to smoke than it is to smoke, because not smoking is just not doing something. It's not there anyway. To smoke, you have to actually create it in your life. So it's kind of like, and I feel like it's a switch. I can just choose to turn that off. I can just say, okay, that's not an option for you. And I've done it with hundreds of things. With the alcohol, it's just not an option for you. And by turning it's not an option, it's just like, oh, there's nothing to be hurting over. There is no loss there. There's only gain. By losing, I gain. It's like a paradox. It's like everything on this twin flame journey. It's a paradox. By losing, I gain, and then I find full spectrum. And when you can see both sides together at the same time, you can also see all the different variables that are in between, like all of the grays between the black and the white, and all of the grays back from black to white. It's the same thing reversed. So you have full circle. And I love the lessons that I get from my twin and my twin flame, and on the twin flame journey. I know I need to put these keywords in there, so just bear with me. It's my new thing. I'm really getting into my own thing now. I'm really feeling like there's some kind of, it's like the old world that I was in is closing to me because I'm outgrowing it. I've outgrown it, and I've outgrown it for a while. It's just, where do you go from some place that you've already outgrown when there's nothing new? And now I feel like there's this whole new world that's opened up to me, that it's like I get to create it. I get to create it, and I have all of these tools that I've gotten in this past canvas. It's like getting a new canvas, and you've already learned so much from your last painting that you can take all those tools with you to create the new creation. So I feel like that with this new world that's opening up to me is that I have all of these new tools. And part of the tools are like the AI. It's like self-teaching. I, when you learn how to fish, you don't need anybody to fish the one fish for you. You know how to fish. Something is coming down. I've noticed, and I've been able to put into words just from the conversation yesterday that I had with my twin when we were talking, is that I get downloads, and when I get a download, I can't straight away put it into words. It comes like in a way, it comes in this knowing. Um, but in order to put it into words, I have to let it resonate in me, and then I can bring it forth. That's why a lot of times things come in kind of a delay. And what I realized, I want to talk about this pain thing and about this shifting. It's like shifting into this new world. And that when you decide, because I am responsible for this avatar. I am the one that is sitting in the driver's seat of my life. I'm the one that gets to say. I'm the one that gets to decide. And I don't have to let my emotions, my emotions are there to tell me something. And I can see my emotions on many different levels. I can see them on the very lowest level of, taking them literally, or I can say, okay, so this emotion is telling me that this yearning is telling me that I want love, and I want a meaningful relationship, and I want to have a partnership in my life, and I want to have somebody in my life that interests me. I get him in my life. He interests me, and I get him in my life. And I can find all those other things in a different place. And from that other video that I was watching, that was from Teal Swan, that short, it keeps coming back to me over and over and over. It just means that there was a really strong message in there for me. And the message was that people are different flavors. Now, this is something that I've given thought to before, and that I already know within myself. And also, when you hear truth, you know it's the truth. So you don't have to question. Inside, it sits with you and it resonates, and you know that what you're hearing is true when you hear truth. And so people are different flavors, and just like I met him, there are so many other different flavors that I can't even imagine. And by latching onto him, I'm closing my opportunities. I'm closing my own options. I'm not allowing all of the different aspects of me to be open and in perceptive mode. And so I feel like, first of all, this is a gift. If I'm able to look at it that way and hold that thought in myself that way, then I'm able to see that it is a gift to me. This ability of being able to look at it that way and see it that way, um, and gaining control of these. There's all sorts of feathers in here, but this is a really pretty one. Look. So I think there's another one right over here. Oh, look at this one. This one here. Perfect. And so when I'm able to look at it this way, and I'm able to take it's like rising up into the driver's seat of my life, and all of a sudden I have like this first of all this like feeling that I am powerful. I can choose. So it's like a rising into this power, and seeing that I'm able to just I think that I wasn't completely in belief, therefore I couldn't make the decision to completely let him go because I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him. How could it be? How could it be? And I think the difference is that after we had this conversation yesterday, it's not mine to even say. If he's telling me that, it's only my job to believe what he's saying. And even if I don't believe, like right now, I'm starting to feel like I do believe it. I'm starting to feel like that is the truth that he is telling me. And but even before before that I'm starting to believe like it's the truth. Even before that, I've already believed that he really does want me. Whether he's attracted to me or not attracted to me, he really does want me to let him go in that area. And what I know from him, from all of my relationship with him, is to trust that if he says something, to take it, and also and that's a lesson for me throughout, and also that, hold on, I lost it. I also believe him, that he wants me to let go. So if he wants me to let go, then there is nothing for me to do but let go. So regardless of what attraction or not attraction, it's not my decision to make. And so I have to let go. And then the disbelief doesn't, because up till now it's all like, oh, I don't believe him, so I can't completely let go. But now that I believe that he really does want me to let go, then it's easy for me to let go. It's like a switch. It's like a switch. There's nothing there for me. There's nothing there for me. Holding on at this point, when somebody is telling me specifically to let go, is detrimental to my own life path. I have so many things going for me and so many things that I want to do and create. And I realize that, you know, what I do and my fulfillment of myself is not dependent on anybody else and can't be dependent on anybody else. And neither do I want it to be dependent on anybody else. And neither does anybody else even really know exactly what it would entail for me to feel fully fulfilled within myself. And part of being fulfilled within yourself is knowing that you did it. It's knowing that you did it. And so with this new switch, it's like a switch. It's like, okay, there's no pain in this. It's not your choice. There's no reason to have pain in this. And not only that, it's a win-win situation because he likes me as a person. He loves me as a person. And I love him. And in this way, when I fully let go, I get to keep him in my life. Whereas if I'm hanging on him and not allowing him to go out and do his own thing, then I'll lose him altogether. And then what is that? It's like putting in a goal in my own goalie, or whatever you call it. It's like goal it's me. It's like it's like against my own best interest, going against myself. And then there's a whole bunch of pain in that. And then I start getting excited about, wow, okay, other people, they're just like I met him, there are other people and other flavors that I don't even know that exist, that I can go out and explore the world now. And just like he exists, there's more. There's others. Yeah, there's others. There's not him, but I get him in my life anyway. So, okay, so there's not him, but there's others, and that I can explore other people and find other people out. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to feel excited even about it, that open. I'm open for a romantic relationship. I'm open to finding, and all of a sudden, it's feeling like, I feel like, what's going to come? What's going to be there? Who am I going to meet? And I know that it's coming for me because I already know. It's already here. It's a matter of removing everything that's around it and finding it. It's already here. Just like I'm here, it can't, the other part has to be here. There can't be a yearning for something that doesn't exist. And something that exists will be whole in a way of also sexuality and also, I want somebody that is attracted to me, but attracted to me in a way like the way that I'm attracted, somebody that looks at me and they get dreamy eyed. That I want. And I want it also for me. And it's somebody that sees me. But now I know what it can feel like. The depths. The depths. So now that I know the depths, I can also create the depths. So it doesn't have to be dependent. It can be, I can create those depths in another that I see the potential there. So really it just widens and broadens the opportunity and my ability. And I'm open. I'm open. So I keep on feeling, I'm open. I'm open. It's like a new chapter. It's like a new chapter in my life. I feel like all these other doors have been closing for me, and they've already closed a long time ago emotionally. Emotionally already, rolling posters didn't do it for me from probably the second time I sent a package. I like the idea of selling my own work and being and making my own living and doing what it needs to be done. But I really feel like my life talents and my life powers are being wasted on something like that, and that there are new and better and broader things that are opening up for me. And it's just a matter of me stepping into them and being able to call them my own and allowing myself and saying it like it is. And I feel like I'm being born out of myself. It's like this egg that is being, I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm like something in me is turning inside out, and it's like I'm being born, made out of my, like being reborn out of my own self. All options are open. All options are open. And my faith and my trust is growing by the minute. By the minute. It's like when you get onto this certain place on your spiritual awakening and you get to a certain like height, it broadens, heightens, broadens, heightens, broadens, heightens, and it keeps on going. And you get to, but it's also like going down a rabbit hole. And when you get to the bottom, it's going so fast. That's what it feels like. The spiritual awakening is like, it's going so fast that in the morning I have a shake, and by the afternoon I've already solved it, and then a new shake. It's like the world and the universe is always around you, just ready for you to be ready for the next step. All the signs are already there. And you realize this when you start reading the signs. It's like learning a new language. You learn the language of the world. And when you start seeing signs and you see that they're taking you to the next step on your spiritual awakening, you start seeing the signs everywhere. And then you realize, well, wait, that's giving me a sign, but that has always been here. But right now it's relevant to where I am on my spiritual awakening, so it's giving me the sign. And you realize in that way that all of the signs were always there, and that all the signs for your future awakening are already here. They're already here in the physical world, just sitting there waiting for you to notice them and walk into them. And you can say that with abundance too. All the abundance in the world is already here. I mean, look. All of the abundance and everything that we need to live is already here and free to us. The only one that makes it not free is the man himself. I want to start going back to yoga. I'm going to put myself some kind of like throw an anchor into the future that yoga I want to bring back into my life. I quit yoga when I moved to the new house to save. So there's a history on that. And before that, I have the best yoga teacher ever. And before that, I went every week. And I can completely see the difference in my body now that it's been a few months that I haven't gone to yoga. I go to yoga and my body it's nimble and it becomes strong. Like I can see my stomach muscles. Now my stomach is kind of a little bit poochy. I gained a little bit of weight. I know. I don't have anything to complain about, but I'm actually really happy with the way that I look and the way that I am. I was, about 10 years ago, I was twice the weight that I am today. So I'm happy camper. And it feels like there's a new excitement in things that I'm doing and places that I'm putting my effort, and that when I closed this off yesterday, it was just like a release. There's still, I can still feel the urge to go back into the old ways of thinking, but I'm straight away, I go, no, wait. And I pull myself back into my new perspective. And the more I do that, the easier it is to just stay in this perspective. And in this perspective, I am powerful. And I have control over my being. I have my being reined in. And in that way, I can purposely take my life and steer it to the places that I want to go without allowing my emotions to take over, or fears or anything like that. I'm pulling myself to the limits. When I feel something that's like, I don't want to do that, I start questioning myself. Why don't I want to do that? What is do I really want to do that ultimately? Like ultimately, when I look at myself 10 years down the line, do I want that in my bag of tools or not? And if the answer is yes, then the not doing of it lays in some kind of fear or some kind of disbelief, or some place that it doesn't need to be. And then I just push through it. And sometimes I push through it while I'm holding my head and crying. And sometimes I push through it. It's like a going back and forth. It's like a flip, 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 flip. That's the way it is. And I can see that in today's, like in the mega society, this flip, 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 you go and get medicated. But what I'm realizing is that this flip, 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 flip is actually your awakening. And if you go get medicated or take drugs or alcohol or anything like that, it's a running away from your own spiritual awakening. Because spiritual awakening, you have to go through and sort through your things. And then you go through them, you go through them. You know them from all the different sides. Every single thing that causes you pain, you know from all the different sides. And then in the end, it's just the letting go, Doug. That's all it is. And you're like, why did I have to go through all of that? But you have to go through it all. You have to go through it all in order to get to the place where you can let it go with no pain. And where you get to the place where you rise above it. For me, that's the way it is. I know that there's also a way of just letting it go blindly. But for me, I always have to know. I always have to have inspected all of the avenues. And right now, that avenue over there, I can see it's a closed avenue. I'm not going down that street. I have so many other avenues I can open up, and I can trying to go down a dead end, full force is of no good. It's like standing with somebody with like a giant with their hand on your head, and you keep on trying to push forward and you can't get forward. What's the point in it? Go find a different way. Go find a different street. Go find a different avenue. Take all of your power that yeah, it's going back to that book, you too, like you in squared, and about the fly in the window that's trying, giving all of his power, trying to get out of the window. And he doesn't realize that if he just let go, there's a door right behind him. That if he let go of putting all his power and effort into trying to get out that window, which is going to find his death in the end, he could have just turned around and flew out the door. And that's what I feel like. It's an exact example of it. Take all my power back from there. Know that I am worthy, and that there is, I am going, that my partnership is on the way. It'll show up in my life when I'm ready for it. When I'm ready to recognize it, it'll be there. And in the meantime, I'm still rising, which only means that it's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. So the further I rise on my individual path, the partner that I find will be that far risen, and because it has to be even. So I just feel blessed that I can even be on this journey. And even when I'm crying, I just want to put it out there that even when I'm crying, like crying over things and crying over whatever, I am still grateful, and I still know and find the beauty in this twin flame journey. So even when I'm crying, so, oh, I don't know, I went off. I think maybe there was one time that I was so frustrated that I couldn't even find my higher self, and I just wanted off. I just wanted off. But I realized that there is no off. There's only through. So, like, yeah, let's just go through. Let's just push through it. This is fun. I mean, this adds spice to life, right? Sheesh, it sure does make for an interesting life. Imagine being after it all and being able to look back. It's gonna make the coolest story ever. That's why I'm so happy that I'm making these videos and allowing this all to be online. Okay, well, I really appreciate you watching and sharing this journey with me. And I'm sending you lots and lots and lots of love and a big hug from Galilee. This land, this land is something. There's something in this land that wakes people up, especially this area right here where I am. I can feel it. And this is this exact same land that Yeshua came from, that Jesus came from and walked. And I'm sure he walked this exact route. And I'm sure that he looked up and saw this cave that I'm sitting at. I am positive of it 100%, because Magdala is down that way. That's where Migdal is. And this would have been the route to the holy sites that he went to up on the Hermon mountain. So he went through this land, and this is the most obvious and common route in ancient times. This would have been the most obvious route to go, and it was a known route to go up this little valley, because even when you're walking, instead of going over mountains, this valley takes you straight through all the way up to Tzfat, which was one of the holy cities. So I feel blessed to be able to live here. I feel like my life, my whole life, has somehow, all of the things that have come to be with some kind of grace in order to get me to this point that I am at now. Grace had to have been at work here. And me being here started with my great grandfather, who had a premonition or a revelation that he went up on the mountain and he had a revelation that he needed to come to Jerusalem and open a church from Jerusalem. And he did. It took him about 20 years to come to realize that dream, but he did it. And thanks to him, my mother, which is his granddaughter, grew up in Jerusalem from when she was 6 and was raised in Jerusalem. And my father came here, and I know I told this story once in a previous video, but there's so many videos, and if you didn't see it, so I'm going to tell it in short. I have a phone call. My father, I'll call them back. It's my brother. I'll send him a message. I wrote, "Can I call you back?" My father came over here in 1973 to help, 1973, 74, to help clean up after the war that was here in 73. And they met in Jerusalem and were married within 2 months. So you see all of the things that had to have happened in order for me to be born. I was born in Jerusalem, and both of my parents originally were American. And then I was born in Jerusalem, and we moved to the States when I was 2, and moved back to Israel when I was 12. And then I moved back to the States when I was in my 20s, like late 20s, maybe 28, 29, with my ex-husband and our 2 older children. We had 2 more children that were born in the States. And after 10 years, we moved back to Israel. So everything that had to have happened for me to live here and be in this place was almost like that had to have been divinely guided. That was definitely a lot of grace. And I moved around a lot in the States. Every year we moved somewhere else. I moved in Montana, 2 different houses that I remember in Oregon, California, also 2 different houses. Arkansas, we lived in 3 different houses in Arkansas. And then we moved to Israel and moved all over Israel. We got here and we went to Beersheba and then moved to Tzfat. And then we moved to Jerusalem. And then we moved to the Judean mountains. And we moved back to Jerusalem. And we were homeless for a while. And then we moved up north to Bnei Yehuda, to the Golan. And then we moved to Rosh Pina for a while. And then my parents came to Livnim, where they've been for the last maybe 30 years. Yeah, I was 17 when we came to Livnim, so it was the last 30 years. That's amazing. And then I continued on with my own journey after that, moving from place to place. We are 5 siblings in my family, and I have 4 children, all from the same father, in 2 separate, goes at it. So I have the 2 older are 26 and 25, almost. And then the 2 younger are 16 and 14 almost. So, well, I'm feeling blessed and just giving you an update on how I'm doing. I know that this journey is a journey. So, and I know that it is constantly changing, constantly evolving. But I feel like there was just a brand new door opened up to me and different perspectives revealed to me. Also from yesterday, from the conversation that I was having with my twin, he opened up all sorts of different perspectives that when he opened up to me, I had to say, wait a minute, I just entered into a new way of looking at things, into a completely new perspective. And when you get a new perspective, it changes everything that you see. It changes the way that you see everything. It's like getting a new filter on life. It's like, okay, wait a minute, I'm looking at life through this new filter in which I am of power. And see, that is a thought and a vibration that needs to be held. So it's downloaded, you enter into it, but it's really easy to slip back out of it if you don't pay attention and take care and guard it and feed it, nurture the new perspective. Think about it as much as you can. You choose your words with intention that they all align with that new perspective that you have. I want to watch this video. This is a good one. This is channeled. That's why I lose my place. So it's like going into this new world is going from the 3D level, which is the I, where I just was when I said I lose my place. That's the avatar saying, oh, I lost my place where I was up in the higher realms because I came back down. I started getting into the monkey mind, thinking about things, sending me off on something else. So it's like holding on to this connection to the 5D, holding on to this higher realm and this higher perspective and vibration of what it feels like. And you can feel the vibration that I have now. It's a very high vibration. You can see it. You can feel my aura. And I'm looking at a butterfly. And it's all by itself. And it's happy. And soon it'll be with another butterfly and it'll be happy there too. Everything is so still. When you get into the now, it's paradox. It's a paradox too, because when you get into the now, first of all, you realize that everything is vibrating. You can see it. So there's movement and everything is alive, including the rocks. They're in evolution. Everything is a vibration and everything is moving. So everything is moving at the same time. But also when you get into the now, there's like this suspension of time. So everything is at a complete standstill. And then you can see the energy moving on the standstill. It's like entering a different world. It's like entering the world of energy and not it's like entering to the world of energy. But you're also here in the 3D world at the same time. It's like I said, all of the worlds come and they collapse into one, and then you're in complete presence. So I think I'm going to go ahead and sit here for a few minutes, and I'm going to finish this video up here now. I have been watching these rules on making videos, and one of the rules is that you don't have to go into this prolonged separation and like, oh, and I'm going to finish this video now. But I realized that I'm just doing my own thing. And there's lessons in that for everyone. And I really want to do also a video on Christ energy because I know I can see it. And I know what it is. So I want to do a video. I still feel like it's coming into a place where I can completely explain it. So I'm just going to let it's still evolving, and it's still spreading. It's like still expanding and getting, and all of it's still filling in all of the absences are there. The downloads are coming. So this AI also opened up like all sorts of options for me. I realized how I can use it to my advantage, to move myself along in all of these different aspects. And there's so many different places that I can take that energy that was going down that avenue and pull it back to myself and put it in these areas and just watch them flourish, because nothing is flourishing down that avenue. It doesn't matter what's going to be in the future. I'm not even going to think about the future. From my perspective right now, there doesn't have to be a romantic future. I'm happy that he's in my life. I'm letting go of the trying to hold on to him. He can go do his thing. I'm doing my thing. And that's what it is. There's bees flying around me. There was even a bee sitting on my phone before. And so I'm just going to let it unfold for me. I'm following my nose. My nose is leading me to the right places and for the right lessons, even if I don't see it exactly when it's happening. Afterwards, I see the exact in everything, and how everything was exactly like it needed to be in order for me to get the lessons that I got. And so I'm not even going to dwell on, I'm not going to dwell on any kind of lingering hope and pushing down an avenue or making myself feel pain because he's off doing whatever with whoever. It's regardless. I can go off and do whatever with whoever too. I get to choose where to put my energy. And I'm choosing to open myself up wide for a new relationship and for love to come in and for a loving, mutual, strong um, relationship, partnership in my life that also has all of the aspects of I just I want to make love. So with that, on that high note, I am going to leave this video and I'm going to sit here for a little while and then head back out. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hit subscribe and I will bring updates as I feel them coming.